Hey everyone, got a little update for you from the Tug Jupiter. The boat is a mess right now, but that's a good thing because it means work is happening. This here is our newly acquired water pump for the raw water side of our EMD engine. So we're pretty excited to have that on board and looking real forward to getting that project behind us. In addition, the boat is a mess because we have made some holes up top. If you can see those are just the small ones. Some debris there too. And a whole bunch more debris and some bigger holes in the head and the shower. The reason we did that is because we are starting on getting the boat deck into ship shape. Unfortunately, as you can see, there is quite a bit of rot in the structure. The good news is it's mostly supported by steel and we can weld in new pieces. So this is what we're looking at. We've actually stripped down all the layers of plywood and fiberglass and canvas and whatever other stuff. We found rubber roofing in there, all sorts of things that people over the years have used to try to keep the water out of the upper deck or boat deck on Tug Jupiter. And we found what appears to be the original deck. These are tongue and groove bead boards, 7/8 thick, about 3.5 inches wide. And on top of that was a layer of canvas that would get painted, and similar to fiberglass, but before fiberglass became a thing, that was basically your roof or your waterproofing on a project like this. So something that was a little bit surprising is we found that some of this original deck is not as bad as we thought it was going to be. Some parts have been repaired already with plywood, and that's okay. And other parts are going to need to be repaired, like we're going to have to put a piece of plywood in there to account for all that had rotted out. But we might actually be able to get back to a better place with this by not putting another layer on top of this this original deck. So that's, I think, what we're going to try to do here. We're going to pull up these coamings as well because the various layers of deck have been underneath of them. So those pieces are going to come up. And in this area around the ladder that leads down to the lower deck, we're going to have to weld in quite a bit of new steel in here, and we're also going to have to replace the wood support beams that were in that area. You can see one here on this side. So that's one of the wood support beams that actually sits on top of a steel channel. And we're going to have to replicate that over here so that we have something to tie the deck into, or fasten the deck into rather. And that's going to be that. So we're going to tie in all this stuff on the outside, all the trim boards. All that stuff's going to have to get redone. But the good news too is a lot of the pieces that make up the overhang for this boat deck are what we would call cutoffs of our organizational sister ship Gazella over there. So as work gets done on Gazella, we're going to have some pieces of white oak and possibly some other species, maybe some black locust, that we can actually use to replace a lot of the pieces that Jupiter is going to need. Now we are going to still need plywood. We are going to still need a new waterproofing system. Painted canvas is an option, but it's not really the best option these days. Fiberglass is probably a better choice, or perhaps fiberglass with Dynel cloth. That could be an option as well, but we haven't made it there, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But we are still going to need some support in terms of purchasing lumber that is not going to be able to be, taken from cutoffs from Gazella, and we're also going to need to purchase steel. So that's kind of going to be one of the big unknowns. We don't know exactly how much steel we're going to have to purchase yet. This is just a small sample area of the deck in reality, but we've got at least 2 pieces just in that short area of angle iron that's going to need to be purchased, and I'm going to have to check and see if there's a camber to this deck. It feels pretty flat, but if there is a camber, then we're going to need professional assistance to actually shape those pieces of angle iron before we can weld them in. So it's just a quick update really. Not a whole lot more to talk about right now, but this is what we're working on. So feeling pretty good. We've had some good progress. We got one of the big pieces of the puzzle. The water pump is on the boat. So thank you to the supporters that have taken care of us so far. This wouldn't have been possible without you. And likewise, we've got a little bit of money right now, probably not quite enough to finish this deck, but we got enough to start, get the project started. So if you like what you see and you want to see this boat get back into really good shape, do us a favor and go to www.philashipguild.org. That's philashipguild.org, and hit that donate button and keep us doing this good work. Thanks again for all your support so far. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to supplying a brand new, well, not brand new, but a much refurbished Tug Jupiter in the near future.